Hello, I am Jeff C. of Manly Pinterest Tips, and I'm here with my always awesome co-host, Elisa Meredith, and special guest, Julie Halson. So Julie has been on before, and you guys loved her pin design. So we're happy to have her back for this very special all-pin feedback episode. That's a great title, by the way. And it won't be just about Julie and Lisa. You guys have great ideas, too. So we would really like for you guys to talk about it down below. We'll try to bring up some of those comments on screen today. And don't forget that you can get access to some great Pinterest templates and all sorts of things by going to bit.ly/TW Pinterest Toolkit. That's bit.ly/TW Pinterest Toolkit. That's all lowercase, all smashed together. Elisa did a great job with this. Elisa, how are you doing today?
Thank you. I'm doing great, except I am sure that it's Friday, and it's not.
No, we have one more day. Sorry.
I know.
Big plans.
Yeah, right. Big party and mass
Julie,
gathering.
how are you doing?
Absolutely.
Julie, doing great. Well? Doing well. It's a nice and sunshiny day, which is always great.
Yeah.
Yes. I wanted to do like an unsolicited and we're not sponsored review of Polar's Orange Vanilla Seltzer. It's like a creamsicle, but not like sicky sweet.
Well,
so if you guys want to sponsor the show,
we've got some pins to review. Come on, we got some pins to get going.
We have so many pins to review. I wish we could get to all. I know we're not going to, but we're going to get to as many as we can. I'm going to throw those pin links into the chat as we discuss, so that you all can give your opinions and feedback as well.
Yeah. So are we going to do the redesigns that Julie put together, or are we going to jump right into pin? How did you want to run this thing?
I think we should break it up. I think we should do some reviews and then put Julie's redesigns in when we feel like we need a little change of pace.
Okay. Well, that may happen sooner than we think. So let's go ahead and pull those up. I'm going to go pull those up for us really quickly.
And I'm going to make it fun by doing a 90-second timer on
for
each of these.
Well, I thought we were going to do her redesigns first.
Oh, whatever. You never
okay, so then you can time us. 90 seconds is all we get? Really?
Yeah, that is all we get. Yep.
All right. So, by the way, don't forget to go to, this is going to be a kind of a crazy show, everybody. So, bit.ly/TW Pinterest Toolkit to get some great templates because you'll probably need them after this show because Elisa likes to rake people over the coals. So, let's go ahead and jump to, we'll jump to our this is the redesigns that Julie put together. So, Julie, we're going to start with the Anxiety 101 because whenever I start the show with Elisa, I feel this. So, tell us about, so the first one, I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on it. The first one is like the original pin, the one on the left, correct? Okay.
Yes.
So, tell us your thoughts behind this.
Awesome. So, the original pin, some of the things that I really liked about it was that they were really trying to focus people in on that text. It's nice and large. They tried a couple different fonts to maybe make certain words stand out more than others. And you can see that they also were going for some consistency with color. You can see that there's some rectangles in there of that light pink coming from the tulip in the background. So I kind of wanted to take some cues from what they were already doing and go with something a little bit nature inspired that maybe some of us would associate with kind of feelings of maybe the opposite of anxiety. So maybe kind of here in this one with the stacked stones, still speaking to nature and kind of using color theory to bring about kind of those feelings of like new beginnings and growth with that green. And I went with making anxiety the largest word so that that's kind of what catches people's eyes as they're scrolling through Pinterest.
See, stacked rocks make me anxious, so I guess.
Oh, really?
No, it's fine. I'm just kidding. But so talk a little bit about color theory because green is supposed to be relaxing. Give us like some breakdown of maybe some other the primary colors that people may not know about.
Yeah, fantastic. In fact, the next one over there to the right, I use blues because blues are actually associated with feelings of calm and peacefulness and also being responsible. And so I thought that this stock photo would be great to already use those blues that might make us feel a little bit more calm and peaceful, which is kind of a great way to get people thinking of maybe that in state of mind if they do read about this blog post on how to cope with anxiety.
And that lady looks really relaxed. I mean, she's like drinking
She
her
does.
tea. It's probably bourbon, but that's why she's so relaxed. But she's, I
There you
mean, it's
go.
That's what
very,
the article is
but
about.
but it has that feeling to it of like, okay, you're sitting in a corner, you're taking some time out, and you're not anxious, which is the opposite of what the word is saying at the top. So very, very cool.
Right.
So about this third one, talk about that a little bit. Fourth
Right.
one.
So here again, I went with a different set of colors that also might go with the theme here. And we've got some neutrals. We've got the creams and the grays and the black of her coat. And these kinds of colors are actually usually associated with feelings like sophistication, elegance, here again, calm. And so these are just a couple different ways that you could use color theory to really kind of help bring about the feelings that people should have, or that you're hoping they might have when they come across your pin or the blog post. Because whether we realize it consciously or not, we're always impacted by color. And so we can use that to really help communicate more effectively with our audience.
Very, very cool.
I
So I
like
want
the
to
way
pull back.
that you, yeah, I like the way that you added the, like, what's in it for me, but not in such a way that it took over the image. So what it is, how to cope, 15 tips, all really important things to know, but more focused on the image rather than the text is really nice.
So we have some comments on the in the viewers, and this is Monica says, I don't like the first one because it's too much text focused, and Pinterest audience is more about images. So is it still okay to use text, just text only, and not having any, like a photograph behind it? What are your thoughts, Elisa?
I mean, you can. Those quote graphics do really well, but in general, you want to show your product or service in use in some way. So that's what we're seeing here. We're seeing either the person enjoying the results of getting rid of anxiety, or we're seeing the stacked rocks, which do tend to put Jeff on edge, but for the rest of us, they kind of picture that sense
just wanna
of
go kick 'em over.
peacefulness.
Yeah.
Land on your toe. Yep.
Yes, exactly. So trip over that stuff in the woods. It's not good. But yeah, so we have some great comments. I like the middle one because it makes feels like the desired outcome of dealing with anxiety. Yes.
Good point, Margie.
Very, very cool. And you know, sometimes it's okay. Like Phoebe says this, you know, I like the second one, but I can't tell you why. And that's what I think is really cool when you have those, like, I know I like that one, but I don't know why. And I think we talk about this a lot on this show, is, you know, doing a lot of A/B testing and doing fresh pins and being able to do that. That's, sometimes you don't know why an audience likes it, but it just works. So
yeah, and it might be that Margie really, I think it was Margie really, Phoebe really liked that one, but maybe somebody else really related to, like, anxiety, like calmness equals reading a book or looking at rocks. Like, it depends on the person. So try a variety and just see how much activity you can get.
Yeah,
from it.
and Shelley goes, I like the second one the best too. I just have a hard time reading the letters that are too small. One of the things is that's what's so cool about this new Fresh Pins strategy is, you know, you can use all these and figure out which one works the best and, you know, build a campaign around that. So, yeah, we got a lot of great comments coming up. Keep them coming, guys, because this is, we love seeing you talk down below there. So so now do we want to go into some reviews? We got another one of these, but we can wait. We'll split it up like you wanted. Okay,
Let's
so
split it up.
let me go to our there's the first one right there. So let's talk about this one.
Okay.
Now, who sent this one in? I'm not sure.
This was Maureen. So I'm going to put the link in the chat, and if you guys want to make some comments underneath that, that'll make it easier for Maureen to see what you're talking about for her pin. Yeah, so this one just came in this morning, and yeah, there's a lot going on. Who wants to go first?
Ooh, I will.
Okay.
You know, we talked about this. You know, this is one of my biggest things. And please listen, I am not a professional designer like Julie is. But one of the things we talk about a lot on this show is those scripty fonts. And not just because they're hard to read. It's because now Pinterest actually can read your text. And sometimes these scripty little fonts freak Pinterest algorithm out. So I am like, I try to have the cleaner fonts now ever since of that. So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't really, new on the blog, it doesn't really matter to me if it's new on the blog. That's just a lot of branding there and maybe a lot more text than we need to have. So the really important part is getting ready for the upcoming business boom. So I would just take off that top box of text It's, it's triggering Jeff with the script anyway.
Right.
But we don't really need that.
Right.
That's my thought.
I think, yeah. What about you, Julia? Tell us what your thoughts are.
Yeah, in looking over this one, first off, I just have to give bonus points for taking that text color from the shirt. It looked like the center part of the poppy is maybe where they got that purple color from. It's always nice if you can have some color coordination between maybe your text and the background photo, so I thought was great. One thing I did notice was that when I first saw this pin, based off of the photo used, I thought it might be about gardening or something about springtime. And then once I read the title and a little bit more about the blog post, I realized it's more business focused. So I would kind of be interested in seeing this pin with maybe a photo of someone with a laptop, or maybe in a little bit more of a business environment to make me instantly connect more with that title.
Gotcha. So what do you think about Dave's idea here? He goes, bold the boom instead of here's how.
Yeah, you could bold it. You could give it some other special text effects. I think that could be good. I want to give bonus points because, Julie, that's a great idea. For the transparent background, it really goes well with the light and the shadows that are reflecting on that pathway, I guess it is. So even though, yeah, I agree, like maybe the image isn't right for the topic, the design sense there with that transparency matching what's going on in the background is nice.
So here's a question for especially Elisa, I know, because she's a great writer and copywriter. Would you pare this down more? Like try to minimize text?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I definitely would. If you could get it down to 4 to 5 words, that would be good. What do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, because it's just a lot. Even if we took off that first box, it's still a lot, and it's not real direct. So something like, "Hi, puppy." Get ready for the upcoming boom, like our business boom. Preparing for the inevitable business boom, something like that.
Yeah, Erin says that she thinks of it, it's kind of a run-on, so maybe some punctuation or something like that might help as well. So, well, we've gone way over your allotted 90 seconds. Do we want to move on to the next one?
Yeah, I think we're going to have to make it 2 minutes because, it was way over.
Okay.
So it was just a test.
That was just that. We're just pulling this out.
It's just a test.
Yeah.
Right.
So here's our second one here. So let's talk about this black rice and pea shoot salad. So Elisa, what are your initial impressions with this one?
I think this was Letty's. Yes, Letty's. Okay. This was actually, I loved being able to feature this one because they actually used the templates, or some of our Canva templates that we designed. Yeah, and I can tell. And so I like it. But I would say that even though I love that she used the colors from the photo in there, I feel like there's not enough contrast between the image in the background and the text over it. So like my immediate fix for that, I think, would be a gradient from the top to just below the text, maybe a lighter gradient, fool around with that, or like a darker brown or something to make that text really pop. Because I think it's getting lost, especially that third line.
Julie, so how would you fix this? Well, forget what Elisa said. How would you actually fix this as your design? I mean, would you put like a text box, like an opaque, like white or a different color to build up the contrast between the title there, or what would you do?
Yeah, I mean, I loved Elisa's idea about the overlay from top to bottom. That's a great idea. I wish I had that one first. But yeah, you could use a rectangle overlay behind the text if you wanted to make it pop a little bit more. Depending on the size of the photo used here, I'd be curious if you could maybe make it a little bit smaller, because there's already some kind of lighter area in that top right corner. Yeah. If there's a little bit more available, maybe you can make use of that. I really liked how they did that on the bottom where they put their website name on the white plate. It's a great location for it and really stands out.
So I want to pull up this question by Maureen because I think it's important. So Lisa, I would love to give some tips on this. Like, my biggest challenge is writing too much. So what are your tips for people when it comes to, like, is there a tool that you can use to help create your headline, your title text? Give some the people who maybe struggle with this some ideas on how to do that.
Yeah, so yesterday in our Pinterest get together, which if you haven't been yet, it's every Wednesday afternoon. You should really come. It's very fun. We talked about writing and doing keyword research.
Mm-hmm.
So I think my first thing to do would be to look at the keywords that Pinterest suggests. Look at trends as well. See what keywords pop up there that you should be using, and then kind of build around that and think about what are the most important things to know here. Is it the black rice? Is it the pea shoot salad? I mean, I have no problem with this text here. I think it's really good. I think somebody suggested maybe adding like the best, which is fine too, or easy.
Incredible.
But I like the simple way that they've done this here. I think with Maureen, hers was a previous one about business. I think it's a tough topic. So like, what is the main point? How can you distill that down to as few words as possible? Like, prepping for an upcoming business boom. Like that to me, like says it all in just a couple of words. But I do think we might be missing the SEO there. So go look on Pinterest. What are people searching for? It's probably not a business boom. Maybe recovery. Not really sure, but you need to do that research.
Yeah. So that was
okay. We're way over.
I know, but I really like the fonts.
Okay, I'm going to stop.
I wanted to pull this up, and I hope I could tell me if I'm. It's Rona. It's Catarona, right? Please tell me I'm right.
It's Rona. You're right. It's Rona.
See, I told you I'd get it after about a month. Zoom out and use white space. So I think that's what Julie was talking about a little bit. Is you may have enough place to put some to get some contrast by pulling back a little bit and using like the wall behind you. So all right, so we'll go on to the next one really quickly. Let's see here. Let me pull it up. So is this the right one? Girls Night Out?
Anissa, I think. Let's see.
Or did I go too far?
Yeah, I think that's right.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't see what the pin ID is, but
okay. Sorry.
Sure, we'll say it's right.
Right. We'll say this is it. So
yeah.
Talk about this one.
Yeah. So, Julie, you want to go first? I went first last time.
Sure. Yeah. So this one, I think it's a pretty fun photo. They're really styling. Their outfits are pretty cool. I think for me, my initial reaction was just kind of wanting to know more, because at this point, I'm not sure if it's maybe going to be a blog post about going out, or maybe about fashion, or maybe if it's actually selling those dresses. And then once I go in and actually kind of read the description, then I learn a bit more about it. So I'd be kind of curious to see if maybe there is some text that we could add here to let us know when we see this cool photo, what exactly we could do if we clicked on it.
Yeah. So is this about the outfits? Is it about an idea for Girls Night Out? I completely agree. The other thing I felt looking at it was, I think it might just be because of who I am, but it's not super appealing. Like, it just feels way too cool and not very like realistic for me. And I feel like,
I've seen you lean up against that like that. So
right, social media marketing world. That's what we all look like. Yeah, we're very cool. Yeah, so it doesn't relate to me, but again, that could just be because of me, and I'm definitely not their audience. But yeah,
here's the
what do we have for comments?
So, well, we got a lot of comments. So a lot of people are saying it's too dark. It appears to be an image, not a
dark.
pen. And so what do you guys say about, so it's not in the normal aspect ratio like a Pinterest pin. And so this looks like it was taken right off like a Facebook photo or like on Instagram just thrown up there.
Something.
So yes or no on that? Or would it be better to start over and recrop this and put some titles on it? I mean, I can understand why they did this, because it's hard to crop group photos like this. Somebody's going to get the axe, you know, if you're going to go and make it, you know.
But you could give two people the axe, right? And then you could have a nice portrait aspect ratio. And I think that would be an improvement. I don't know that it really needs text. I think a lot of fashion pins can be fine without text, but it is really dark. And I think that just having it in that kind of squish size adds to that I don't really know what I'm seeing kind of feeling.
Like you just kind of happened upon these people. So this Keisha says, looks like a fashion post instead of cocktails, but the gals don't look like they're having fun together, but they do look like they have it going on. So there you go. They got it going on.
Maybe you can't do both. Yeah. I don't know. I guess that was what I was trying to say. They don't look like they're enjoying themselves. Yeah. Thanks for putting that in words.
Let's go into the next one we have here.
Okay.
Okay. Stay at home. Let me pull this up big. Stay at home date ideas. So that's what it looks like, a little bit bigger. So we're all kind of in that right now. Stay at home date ideas. So how
this is
would
Tiffany.
Elisa, I'm going to just pick on you. What do you think about this one?
Okay. Yeah. So, kissy face. All right. So, I think it's a little subdued, which I guess is okay. But I think the thing that kind of bugs me is, the way that the words are arranged in the heart. And it's probably going to be Julie's pick too. Just that the date night ideas, we need some white space that just causes some like inside anxiety, even if you don't express it for some reason. It's like makes you uncomfortable. The 1 full year, I mean, I like the topic a lot. That's kind of why I picked this one. I thought it was clever. And I don't mind. I don't mind the background image at all.
What? That's my thing. It's like 1 full year, and then you stay at home idea. You know what I mean? It's like the wrong thing is big. And the other problem I have is for some reason my mind got messed up because the heart and then the gap between their face. It looks like something out of a lava lamp dripping, like with the negative space. You know where the lips are and the heart goes down.
Yes,
it's just kind of
I can
odd.
Totally see that.
And I'm
the
like,
composition
what
is a little bit.
Yeah, I had to go figure out what it was. I saw the
well,
sideburn.
now you and Jody have a full year of stay-at-home date night.
We do.
So
we don't need this.
There's
we have 2 or 3 years of ideas.
Pretty
much watching Matlock. You know, that's so.
Okay. Also, one more thing. There are 4 different fonts on this one pin, which is too many. 2 max for your text, and then your branded URL or website title. That's
Ella thought the same thing. Too many things.
Oh, okay. Hey, Ella. Yep.
So,
but I like the background image. What do you think? Okay.
She goes, I think this should just use date night ideas. The picture is a little odd. Yeah.
Is it the kissy face that bothers you?
I mean, I had to look at it and see what it was. I mean,
yeah.
I think it's
a little out of focus, right?
Yeah. And Julie, what are your thoughts? Because we're just rambling on here, so I want to know what the professional says.
Yeah, no, I think those are a lot of good thoughts. It kind of made me start wondering, like, okay, what are some ways that they could address some of these issues and really make date night ideas be a little bit more the star of the show and maybe kind of change where the focus is. It did make me wonder if maybe instead of using a heart there in the center, if the photo is kind of already date themed, maybe they could expand it and have maybe a tall vertical rectangle and use a lower opacity so you can see through it a little bit more, and then use a really like bold text for that date night ideas. It'd give them a little bit more real estate while they'd still be able to use that photo.
And probably only keep it to like 2 fonts, correct?
Right. Ideally 2 fonts would be great.
And it's also just really, I mean, I would spill my coffee, and the heart's pointing right down into. It's just a weird photo. To maybe if you shrunk it down, I don't know. It just seemed a different. I mean, a kind of an interesting photo. I'm sorry if those people are watching. It's I'm glad you love each other, but it's just
that's Tiffany, and I'm sure she's loving the feedback. But I mean, I like the black and white though.
Yeah, I think that's cool.
I do like that a lot.
I think and
you don't see a lot of that on Pinterest.
Right, and that's why it probably should stand out in the feed. So,
yep.
Yeah. So let's go to the
next one.
Let's go to the next one.
Next one is Renee.
And please let us. We're doing this out of love. This is all to help each other out. So I know Elisa can be a little harsh sometimes, but we try to soften it a little bit. Oh, okay. Where was I? Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Next one is here. Ooh, I kind of like this.
Is that so cute?
It is. It's well put together, I think. So how can we make it better, or what would you change on this one, Julie? We'll go with you first.
I mean, first off, the photo is absolutely adorable. Both of those rabbits are really the star of the show. You're instantly drawn into them. So I think they did a great job making sure that those were sized appropriately for the pen. I think for me, the first thing is that the website, because it's a script font and it's so tiny, I actually can't read what it says there. So I would probably switch that to a sans serif font just to make sure we can really read that website clearly. And then also with the title itself, I would love if it was a little bit more descriptive so that I know, are these knitting patterns? Is this a blog post about knitting toys in general? If it is a knitting pattern specifically for these rabbits, I would love to see that actually mentioned in the title.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that you hit it exactly right. And just the composition here and the staging of it, just beautiful. But I agree. It was like, what is the pin about? Is it about knitting toys? Like, what is a knitting toy? Oh, it's the action of knitting toys, but it is not completely clear. Maybe it should be. Maybe it is if you're a knitter, but it wasn't to me.
So a couple questions have been coming out. So cute, but can't read the website. So is that important? Should you always have your website on there? I'd love to know what you guys think, because I think it doesn't always have to be there. But what are your thoughts?
To me, yes, you do need to have some kind of subtle branding on there if brand awareness is important to you, and I think it really should be to everybody, because Pinterest is such a top of the funnel discovery engine. You can get massive exposure for your brand if you do things like include subtle branding, put your brand name in the first sentence of your description. Things like that are highly recommended, just because, I mean, people pay gazillions of dollars for brand awareness, and we have this opportunity to do it for free.
So I'm going to tell you why you're wrong. No.
Okay.
No,
go right ahead.
No, but so this is such a great image. And I think sometimes if you can take great images, your images can be your branding for you. Because if she has a bunch of shots like this, and because Pinterest wants fresh pins, and she has multiple angles of this, but it's the same kind of layout and it's all this stuff, she could do multiple pins of this, and that would be almost her branding. I mean, and not always having to put the website. Sometimes I think if somebody slaps a website on there, it takes away from the image. And this is a gorgeous image, I think. So, I mean,
if you have an ugly logo or something.
Right. And so I think I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying I think it depends. Like an ugly logo, or you don't want to, if you have a weird Etsy kind of thing or what, I mean, you want it to fit in there and be subtle enough, but also brand your website, I guess is what I'm saying is, it just depends. Because
I think you're completely wrong, but no. We
have all seen some great photos and they slap on a little logo that looks like crap.
Oh, totally. You're totally right. But if you have a terrible logo, get a better logo. Or just use your URL. Like, I mean, this logo, this URL may not be legible, but it's pretty. So could you change it just a little bit to make it both? Probably.
Yeah. All right. So that was a good one. That was kudos to the photographer on that.
Renee. Good job, Renee.
Yes, really cool. So, okay, we'll go to the next one.
Okay, we're going to go to Elise.
Ooh, now I'm hungry.
Ooh, yeah.
Okay. So, once again, I really like the image, but I'm looking at it in two different spots. And when it's shrunk down like phone size, it can look a little busy. But when it's like bigger, it's really cool. So, I mean, this is one where you really need to, I think, test what works best on what screens and maybe change some things up. Because when it's shrunk down, like on my screen that I'm using to stream with, it kind of fights with the text. But when it's like big on like my website, it looks fine.
That's a good point.
So, love to know you guys' thoughts on that.
I hadn't tried that. I'm glad that you did, though. The grammar Nazi in me balks at a question without a question mark at the end. So I feel like that I'm probably not the only one. So I would change that. I struggle with, I really like the kind of almost monochromatic look, but there's not a lot of contrast. So I don't know. What do you think, Julie, like design wise?
I think for me, I do love the monochromatic theme that they went with here. I think for me, what's making it a little bit more challenging to kind of read the text is because the background photo already has so much contrast with all the holes in the cheese. Your eyes kind of take in there before it actually goes to the text. So I kind of wonder if maybe they could have actually removed the spacing in between each rectangle, maybe pull those together just so there's a little bit less distraction there. I would also maybe change the opacity of those rectangles, and that way you're not having to see through those in addition to seeing all those kind of visual layers of the holes in the cheese and the layers.
I think that's genius. I think that's spot on. So I think,
I do too.
That would be a
But what about the topic? Okay. And I don't know, how, okay. So the blog post is about what is Gruyere cheese. I probably said that wrong. And what does it taste like? If I want to know what it tastes like, I'm probably just going to go taste it. So I'm trying to think of like, how could we make the text on the image more?
What is the blog post actually about? I didn't click through. Is it about?
Let me check it.
Is it actually what does it taste like, or is it to sell the cheese, or is it to?
Well, that's a great point. So I'm clicking through here now. It's Gruyere cheese. Come on, load up.
So a lot of people are saying are really loving your advice, Julie, talking about take the blocks off and kind of move that text together. A lot of people do like the coloring. I think it. I mean, like I said, when I blew it up, it looked really. I like that. I like the picture of the cheeses. I think that's a really good photo.
Okay, so the link is in the chat, and you probably should click through because there are some gorgeous pictures here. There's another one that shows it like on a cheese plate with fruit and almonds. I think what I would do because of that, there's a whole heading called "What is Gruyere cheese used for?" I think I might do something like 5 ways to add Gruyere cheese to your party planning. Something that's like actionable as opposed to strictly informational, I think might get more action.
Is it a food blog? Is that that kind of website, or is it?
It's cookingchew.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, nice, really nice photography on here. Really nice job.
So
Elise.
Would this be one that we wouldn't have any text on, or do you always want to have text on it because of the SEO that we have talked about before?
I mean, Pinterest can also read what your image is, so they know this is cheese. So I don't think, no, you don't have to have text, but in this case where it's not a recipe, so it's not like you can see exactly what you're looking at, I would put text on it, like what to do with Gruyere cheese. Maybe you have some in the fridge, need to know what to do with it. There are great ideas in that blog post. That's kind of what I would do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Very cool. So we're right at the halfway mark. Do we want to go back and do one of Julie's redesign, or do you want to save that for a while?
Well, let's do it.
Okay.
We're ready.
So I'm going to switch back while I get it set up because I had to switch some things out. So talk about the importance of images when they click on it to have that same image from the pin on the post. Because a lot, we all we've clicked on something on Pinterest before, and it turned out to be something totally different or spam or whatever. So talk about the importance of that, you two, while I get this fixed.
You two, go. So when people come to your website from Pinterest, there's a pretty good chance that it's their first time ever coming to your website. So the more trust signals you can give them immediately, the better. But that's only part of it, right? Like that makes for a good user experience. But that's also why it makes for a good SEO experience, because Pinterest knows that's a good user experience, and therefore they will increase your exposure if you have some continuity from the pin image to the images on your site. That doesn't mean you have to have that big, tall image exactly like the one you're pinning visible on your site. You can. You don't have to, but if there can be some kind of consistency in style or theme of the images, then that's enough to send Pinterest a signal that, okay, this is going to be a good experience from here to here, as opposed to what you said, which is so frustrating when you click through and it's completely different thing. Now that does bring up a point though. Like if you want to create 10 pins for one article, you're going to have to create some variations. So is that something you should never do? No, I think you try things.
Right. Speaking of trying things, make sure you go to our awesome templates at bit.ly/TW Pinterest Toolkit. That's bit.ly/TW Pinterest Toolkit, all lowercase, all smashed together. So I'm ready to go to some more of Julie's awesome redesign. So let's go there. So this is the one on the left is the one that you started with, and you did 2 versions of that. So let's talk about those a little bit.
Awesome. So the one here on the left, we have 5 skills you absolutely need to work from home and make money. So in looking at this pin, my eyes were kind of initially drawn to the woman who had a laptop there in the top right corner. And the to work from home was kind of the text that stood out the most to me. Some of the initial things that I was thinking about were, one, that scripty font is pretty hard to read, especially when it is small enough to be on the size of your phone. So that was something that I found a little bit challenging. Also, with the context of the specific photo, to me it felt like maybe a little bit contradictive to the title of this pin, because it's not necessarily supporting the best working from home behaviors where you're likely going to be killing it, making tons of money. It's just sitting on your bed in the dark. So I was hoping that in the redesigns to maybe go with a lighter and brighter approach that would maybe feel that optimism that you're really getting from the concept of just like these first few skills you need to be successful working from home. So that was some of the things I was considering when I went into kind of these 2 redesigns right here. Some of the things I wanted to be sure to make really apparent were honing in on that it's just 5 skills so that it really can resonate with how easy it is to get started. So that's kind of why I pulled out that 5 there on the top to make sure that that felt approachable. In both of these images, you can see I'm using green here again because green, it is about new beginnings and growth, but it also has a strong association with money. And because this pin is about actually making money from home, I wanted to kind of pull in that mindset for people as they look at these pins.
Very, very cool. Yeah, I love them. So a couple questions I have. So like for the, were these stock images that you took? Because I really like how those, like you have those pink pencils up there to kind of break up the top of that first redesign that you did. Now, was that just happened to be the way you cropped it, or did you add that element in to the photo, or how did that work?
This one specifically, this was just due to the way it was cropped. There were a variety of kind of office type things. I tried out a few different stock photos to see what would work well, but that is actually a technique you can use where you can grab different elements and layer them so that they are positioned to kind of break up the space a bit more.
Awesome. Lisa, what are your thoughts?
Mostly echoing what Julie said. When I first saw that the lady in bed in the dark with your computer, I thought, well, nobody really wants to do that.
See, I relate to that. I relate to that.
Do you?
I don't have a clean workspapace like these redesigns at all. Yeah.
Well, okay, maybe you do like to work at night. Yeah. That's awesome. That's a great headboard you got there. Yeah. But yeah, that's not real appealing to me. And the ones on the right are very much more aspirational. Like they look free and light and bright and breezy. But I'm really loving the title. Like Julie said, it's just the 5. Like you don't have to know everything in the world, just these 5 things and off you go. So great topic for Pinterest, especially.
So what I really like about this is a subtle little thing is the 2 paper clips at the bottom. Like they have a pretty clean desk, but they still have a little bit of junk around there. So I mean, but I think those little elements make things. I mean, that makes the design when you have those little things like the pencils and breaking it up with the paper clips. So I think that's pretty cool, Julie. So you always do an awesome job with these. So appreciate that. So while I get this other thing back up, why don't we talk about the best place? Like if you can't take great photography, what do you look for in stock images for like your pin images? So Julie, what are you looking for when you have a title or a blog post? What do you look for first when you're trying to find those images?
For me, the first thing that I'm looking for is honestly white space. If you have a photo where it's totally filled by either a person's face or whatever the subject matter is, it doesn't give you that much room for any text that you're wanting to put on the pin. You can always kind of compensate for that by adding different elements, maybe a rectangle that kind of takes up the first third of the pin or something like that. But in general, if you can find photos that already have some of that negative space, it makes it a lot easier to design the pin and add the text and things like that.
Gotcha. So let's go to our next one really quick. This is, I think is it a video pin, Elisa?
We can, okay. Yeah, it is. This is from Marvin. Yeah, it is a video pin, kind of. So it's kind of like a
Yeah,
flips
because I
back
had
and
to
forth.
refresh it. So.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, it's a slideshow. Okay, gotcha.
So I think that to me, part of the point of having a video pin is to catch that attention really fast. And I think that that if it started flipping earlier, you would be able to take advantage of that. That was one of my thoughts.
Yeah, and there's a way, like when you're rendering some of this stuff out, is that I have found the same thing, what you're saying, Lisa, that you need to have a transition or movement like almost immediately is when it loads. And so you can space those out, like if you're building it like with Wave Video or like with Promo or something like that, to have that happen. So, yeah, see, it waits a long time here, and you just think it's, oh, the static pin, but a lot of time that would be already passed in the feed. So you want to have that movement right at the top. So... Yeah, I think that's a great point.
Yeah, I honestly, when I put this in here, I didn't even know it was a video pin.
I didn't either, and I had to refresh it. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts, Julie?
Yeah, I had the same initial impression. I didn't quite realize it was a video for a moment, so definitely want to get that movement right from the start. I think the next thing that I would be interested in is making it a little bit more apparent with a call to action. You do have the blue text describing that there's canvas prints, frame prints, metal prints, and more. But I'd really love to see something there that maybe tells me to go shop these now, or give a little bit more information about where I'm going to go if I click on this pin.
Yeah, I feel like it's a little bit cold. I think the composition, the colors, the chains, it feels a little bit cold, for lack of a better word. There are a lot of programs you can use to stage your art so that it looks like it's in a living room, and they're really slick, and especially on a place like Pinterest where home decor is a big deal. If you can make it feel more a part of a home decor idea, I think that it will be a lot more appealing and get more clicks on it.
One of the things with video pins, like I've talked about this before, like a lot of the apps that people are using for Instagram stories can make some really, really cool video pins for Pinterest. So if you're struggling with coming up with ideas and you don't have like, Premiere or some of the high-end tools, a lot of these apps will let you create some ones that some of the Enlight apps do a really great job of creating some really cool transitions and movement and right off the bat that you can use to build that on your phone and create some pins that way. So, okay, let's go.
Thank you, Marvin.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you were making fun of me. Okay.
Nope.
Let's go to the next one here. Okay, French toast roll-ups with orange and raspberry. Man, I'm hungry again. I know.
So yummy.
So
okay, this is Jerry. I think it's Jerry. Yeah, and these look delicious.
Sure do.
So, Julie, what would you change about this? I know one thing you'll say. I want to see if you'll say it first of all.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. The first thing I would go with is the current font that's being used for the main title text is a serif font, but there's a huge difference in the line weights there. You have the thick part, but the narrow parts for the serifs are so tiny that it kind of just disappears once you see this at the size most people would for a pen, which makes it a lot more challenging to read. Kind of along those lines, I would probably want to focus in on fewer words for that title. So maybe you could just make French toast roll-ups the largest so that there's something that you can really quickly read at a glance without having to read all the way through orange raspberry French toast roll-ups to kind of understand where you'd be going.
Right. Yeah.
So I want to eat them.
Right.
Yeah, I think I would add though, like the picture itself has a filter on it that's it's a little bit old school, and I think it could be more appealing if it was lighter and brighter. And then that like the dark, a really heavy kind of cranberry color on the top, it just feels a little weighed down and a little bit old fashioned.
Right. Yeah.
But I still want to eat them.
Yeah. I think part of me wants to, depending on the rest of the photo, I think to look at, maybe taking off like you said, the old school kind of block of color at the top and maybe making it opaque or something, depending on the photo behind it, and making it showcase the photography a little bit more might be something to try as well.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And, so, what about the color? It looks like they sampled the burgundy kind of out of maybe the photo. Would you think of a different color for this?
I mean, I would think it looks like there might be a raspberry in the background, kind of behind the roll-ups,
Right.
that has a little bit more of a vibrant red. I would probably be interested in seeing that just in that brighter red instead of the deep color, because it would be a little bit more eye-catching. This current deep red is also making me feel a little bit like it might be more of a holiday theme, since those deeper reds are usually more used at the end of the year.
Right.
And currently, since we are kind of in spring, heading into summer, a lot more of those vibrant or lighter colors can resonate a bit more this time of year.
Right. Right.
Yeah, there's even that bright pink on the far left. But like this one's, it feels a little corporate too, corporate or holiday or something.
Yeah, and at first, even the text at the top, I thought it was just like a decorative like thing, but it's actually text where it says a twist on a classic breakfast treat. And so I would probably take that out as well, as like you were mentioning before, Julie, because at first I thought it was just a decorative one of those little, squiggly things. So if I think that, then Pinterest is definitely going to think that too, probably. So it'd be hard to read. All right, next one we will pull up. Let's see here.
This is, I think it's Laurel.
Yeah, so we sure appreciate you guys sending these in, because these are very, very popular. So here's this one. So history of political thought.
Okay, so you might be thinking, what in the world? Why do you pin this? Well, it's because it's a teachers pay teacher resource. So people creating resources to help teachers in their lesson plans, or these days helping parents teach their kids at home. And that content does really well on Pinterest. So I just wanted to kind of like give a context, because it might seem like an unlikely topic for Pinterest, but it's really not.
Right. So talk about this pin, because it came up really large, and it's there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
So what would you change about it? Here, let me see if I can zoom out, because it's really, I know. It's a big pin.
It's big, and I think the simplest thing I would change is the gray border. I know it's a tiny thing, but I feel like if it was whiter, it would bring a little bit of brightness and lightness to it. Oh, we can see what Jeff's been searching. Duck feet socks. Cool.
No, I don't know why that came up. I don't know where it went.
Is that a pattern?
I've got too many things. Oh, it's gone. Okay.
Oh, okay. I'll send you a link. Okay. Yeah, I really want to talk about this one too, because it was a challenge. Jeff, I just sent it to you in our VMix chat.
It's not coming up for some reason.
Oh, drats. Oh. Okay, I changed the fonts. I changed the border. And I probably would just take out the preview images at the bottom. So remember, I had like.
Oh, yeah.
What about you, Julie?
Yeah, I liked how they did try to maintain the blue throughout the pin to keep that consistent. I would definitely change the scripty font that was there, because for me, it wasn't readable at all. And even kind of in that large view is quite a challenge to read. That would give you a little bit more space also to focus on it, and on maybe saying that this is a teachers pay teachers resource, just so it's a little bit easier to tell what you're getting here. I think, like Elisa mentioned, you could either get rid of the screenshots of the resources themselves. Another direction you could go is focusing in on those even more, maybe just picking one or two of those images, removing the photo at the top. If you wanted to make it super clear, hey, this is a teaching resource, and focus more in on that side of things.
Yeah.
You could also show kids using it, right? So you could show either that photo at the top and then kids below happily learning something, or like the resource itself maybe fanned out and then kids below. Just it would be a lot clearer on first sight.
Yeah. And I don't hate the image or the color of it. It's just too big, and it needs to be, like you said about the gray border and stuff. But I don't hate the image, so
No.
Because it's kind of striking with the blue. But
true, yeah.
Okay, let's go to the next one. Here we go. Empire State by helicopter fly over New York City.
I believe this is Richard. Thank you, Richard. So I wanted to pick one that it was just an image and talk about how we feel about this.
So
I don't want to go first.
for me, like, okay, this is another one where it looks really good. You can see what it is with it when it's large, but when it goes to a smaller image, it just looks like a bunch of gray things. It's hard to make out that Empire State Building. And I know there's some probably better shots of it where it's up against the skyline and there's more contrast to it. But if you pull back, like right now, even if you're watching like on Facebook or YouTube and you're just watching the window, it just looks like a bunch of buildings. It all blends together. You don't see the famous outline of the Empire State Building. So I would choose another image for this. I know it's a helicopter flyby, but I would take my helicopter lower and shoot straight. You know what I mean?
I hope you don't get shot down. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what I'm talking about. It just.
I do.
Okay.
It just all blends into little boxes, and
Right.
you can't. There's no definition of the building itself, which is supposed to be the focus.
Because I would like to see actually, if I was going to do this and I had total control, I would have a helicopter flying by the Empire State Building and having the helicopter in the sky and then the famous outline of the Empire State Building, and that would tell the picture of exactly what we're trying to do.
You could Photoshop that. I mean,
right.
Even if it's not
Yeah.
possible, right?
You could, yeah.
Yeah.
Julie will do it.
Sure.
There you go.
I really, really like the title that they chose.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's really well written, and when you see that in the feed, to have that photo, and we're going to have the clearer photo so we can see better what's going on, to have that right underneath the picture, I think in some ways means that you don't necessarily need text on image, but tell me if you think I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
Yeah, I think.
Like why?
I like the
why.
text.
What were you going to say, Julie?
Oh, I was going to say, I did like the idea of having the text. I think another way they could potentially make it a little bit more clear from the image that this is from a helicopter. If they took this photo themselves, I'm assuming they did, if they could actually back up a little bit and actually show the helicopter itself in that photo, that would be really neat, because you'd be getting more of that bird's eye view kind of feel where you can tell, hey, the photographer is in a helicopter, not just in another building, and give even more context. It would also likely give you a bit of a negative space or darker areas where you would have room to put text.
Right.
If you click through, go ahead.
Oh, she has this. She goes, put the helicopter in the picture or capture in a reflection of the building. That's a great, very artsy thing. I think it's really cool.
That would be neat.
If you click through to that website, though, it's actually a print. It's not about taking helicopter rides, which is what I had assumed it was.
Okay.
Twist.
So they're selling this print. So that needs to. So this is a great point.
Right.
Shelley brings this up. She goes, there's no clear point. Are they selling something? And we all assumed it was for helicopter rides, and it's a print of this. So
it's a print. And if you go to the website, the photo on the website is actually clearer and looks more like you can make out what it is. But the better one is actually a lifestyle image where the photo is shown over a couch with a plant and everything. That's the one to use.
That would be the one, like, and you can actually, even if you don't have it set up, like Lisa was talking before, that there are templates and places where you can upload your image and it'll appear in different scenes or whatever. I can't think of the one I'm thinking about. Place it.
Oh yeah, I think that is it.
And you can go and see this. Yes. So Rona said, "Oh, red herring." Yes, we went totally off the wrong. But see,
it really was.
That's why it's important to be clear with your pins. So, we'll blame Elisa for that one. Let's go to the next one. Here we go. This is your vegan guiding guide to Taiwan. Very, very cool. So, what are your thoughts on this one?
I mean, right off the bat, I've got to say, you can go right ahead.
No. What is right off the bat? I want to hear it.
Oh, I liked that they did use a photo of Taipei, Taiwan, because that instantly kind of transported me into understanding a little bit of the context of this dish. And I felt more like, okay, this is probably coming from someone who's actually been there. This is probably going to be a recipe that's actually used in Taipei, Taiwan. So I did like the use of both of those photos in this pin.
Completely agree, but you said it better than I would have.
Yeah.
It's
Ditto
really
for me as well. So
yeah, I feel like the text takes up too much of the overall pin, though. I feel like the URL could probably be like way at the bottom and maybe in white, and then you have more room for the Taipei, Taiwan. It's just, I feel like that box should be shorter so you can see more of the skyline or more of the food. And then, of course, that scripty font is a tough one, and the bright green feels a little dated to me.
Yeah.
But I like the concept. I think is really good.
I like two photos in a pin like this and having it split up. So
yeah,
that's good. All right, we've got about 5 minutes left, so we're gonna go to the lightning round. And so, all right, let's talk about this one. This is kind of similar to the one we started with, don't you think? A little bit. They points for trying to squeeze in text is they wanted all those words creative in there, and they were going to do it.
Creative, Whitney.
Yeah,
Whitney, nice job.
Yeah, so the photography is incredible. I like the photography. I want to go eat that now, but I just think that we've got to figure out a way to fix the text. So, Julie, I'll let you talk about that.
I think for me, first of all, of course, other than maybe this, for me, the easy vegan is really hard to read because you just have that outline of each letter. Usually if you're going for smaller text, which on pins, they're usually going to be viewed pretty small, unless there's going to be a lot of contrast, it's probably best to avoid those just for increased readability. I think the other big thing for me would be the hot pink banner. Because it's not used anywhere else in this photo, it's kind of standing out to me almost like it doesn't belong there. So I would probably first try out, maybe you can go with the red from the tomato or maybe green of the avocado. Try out a few different colors to find one that really coordinates with the image here. And then find a way to maybe pare down those words. For me personally, I would probably be interested in trying to just go with the like Chipotle taco bowls. And you could put the vegan in there as kind of to tag it for people to know, oh, hey, this would work with my diet specifically.
Would you ever think about splitting it up where you'd like have how to make at the top and then maybe at the bottom would be the title of the, I don't know. I was just trying to think because they really wanted those words in there, is trying to split it up.
I think it should be implied, really. Like, it's pretty clear that this is a recipe pin, so how to make is kind of a little unnecessary.
Yeah.
The easy and vegan, though, that could come out. So it could be just Chipotle cauliflower taco bowls, and then like underneath you could have like easy. I just call that bar thingy, and then vegan, but easier to read.
So, but I mean, they've got some really, and I understand why they tried to do this because how-tos do really, really well, and those are some really great keywords. So is vegan, and so I mean, I know it's a lot, but I see why they did it. What?
Put it in your title.
Right.
The how-to part. The easy vegan, I think, should be on the pin and in your title because those are your part of your big keywords. But the how to make can just go into your title and then it shows underneath. I wanna say that even though the pink is not in the image, and I'm seeing people in the comments having various opinions.
Yeah.
I actually like the pink. I know. It's not in the picture, but I like it, and I'm seeing some people in the comments who like it. Some people don't. For some reason, it doesn't bother me that it's not. I don't know why. It's just personal preference. But it is her logo color, so maybe in some sense it does make sense. It is missing like real branding, like a URL or a logo.
I think the thing for me that would make the pink totally feel like it belongs there is if there was just one other pink element. So if she did have her logo maybe there on the bottom or her website URL in the pink, then it ties it together and it would then feel like it belongs.
We can have
Jade
it all.
had a great title that she came up with, Make Easy Vegan Taco Bowls Tonight.
Woohoo!
So, there we go.
That is good. That's like massive call to action there.
Yeah.
Really nice. But I like the food photography.
Yeah.
Top notch. Really good.
Looks great. So, all right, we are out of time, actually, everybody.
We're out of time.
This was so much fun. We love
happen.
doing this. Let us know if you want us to do these again. We had, this might be something fun to try. Would be to do a video pin like review, because we had a lot of people asking about video pins in the comments, and that might be something to do for one of our shows sometime. So,
if you like this, let us know.
You guys were awfully nice to each other. I know, Elisa, you're going to have to hold her down a little bit, but it was a great show. I think Julie did she's an awesome designer. Thank you guys for submitting all your pin requests. And, I'm sorry we couldn't get to more of them today, but you guys are awesome. What's a great audience. And don't forget to go to bit.ly/TW Pinterest Toolkit. That's bit.ly/TW Pinterest Toolkit. All lowercase, all smashed together. Elisa, I'll let you have the final word.
Why, thank you. I do want to just share that Pinterest has released some new features for boards. So you can add start and end dates, which is cool because if you have something you're planning, like a wedding, you can have an end date. And then at that end date, Pinterest will remind you to archive that board so that your home feed isn't full of wedding stuff anymore. Very cool. You can add notes to your boards. You can, it will create pin groups and suggested sections. As that's rolling out, I'll share the link for that there. But it's not a massive business implication there, but definitely something great for users.
That's
so.
Right.
Yeah, do let us know. Should we do this again? Even if we didn't get to your pin, was it fun? Okay.
They want to do this again, so we'll do these some more. So thank you guys so much for watching. Julie, thank you so much for all your work on these and doing
thanks for having me.
Giving everybody some great advice. And with that, we'll see you guys next time. We'll see you on Tuesday when we're talking with
Nadine Roner.
Yes. And so we'll be
about how to become a social media manager, work from home or work from Bali like she does.
Right.
She has a really good system to help you.
Yeah, and not from your bed like the pin we showed earlier.
In the darkness, right.
Right. So
on the
with
beach.
That, we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Bye now.
Thanks, everybody.